Hi, everyone. This is Dave Donnan. I've been in the food industry for over 40 years. As an engineer, I've run food plants, managed companies, and consulted to food and agriculture companies around the world. In the past 2 months, under the coronavirus quarantine, I've been working with several food companies and service providers as they try to navigate the new reality of this pandemic. Today, I want to talk to you about the new normal and consumers in this coronavirus world. This presentation is based on recent research and discussions with farmers, food industry experts, and consumers. I realize I do not have a crystal ball about the future, but I wanted to share with you some of the observations and many of the things that I'm seeing in the world. We started 2020 with several strong consumer trends. Health and wellness was influencing consumers' food choices towards healthier foods. Most food products were designed around healthy and simple ingredients. We favored local products and new startups and entrepreneurs producing novel new food items. Big food companies were seeing volume declines as consumers favored new tastes and products and often shunned packaged foods. We also basing our buying on personal values, seeking out products that were sustainably sourced, lower food waste, organic ingredients, and promoting our lifestyles, whether it be vegetarianism, keto diets, or paleo diets. Plant-based foods were also growing, and alternative meat products were on the rise as we were slowly moving also to a digital economy. And we were also part of the sharing or gig economy, where we shared cars and scooters and used freelance delivery drivers. My, how things have changed in the last short months. The coronavirus pandemic has forced us to shelter at home and take on new buying behaviors. Our health and the health of our families have become a primary concern for all of us in our food choices. Eating at home has uncovered new cooking skills by everyone, from making bread to cooking our favorite meals. And meal delivery services have flourished. Packaged, shelf-stable foods, after years of decline, are growing at double-digit rates, boosting the revenue of the larger established food companies. We now have moved online at an accelerated rate, and we're looking for non-contact pickup and delivery options. And not knowing if we will remain employed, we're becoming more frugal with our household spending. But we are still in the midst of a long-term readjustment of our lifestyle and consumer choices. Many consumers in Asia have already been accustomed to shopping for groceries online using Alibaba's home retail stores. When coronavirus hit, they were able to sit in their homes, watch online videos on TikTok, and bought things through e-commerce. They were accustomed to it. And I think that's one of the things that separates Asia from North America and Europe, and your ability to contain the spread. People didn't feel like they needed to go outside. The massive shift in food distribution channels away from food service has created fault lines in the food system as distribution networks had to be redesigned to handle the increased retail formats. Restaurants, universities, and businesses shut down and no longer serve food in cafeterias. In addition, dramatic increases in unemployment due to the quarantines has impacted consumer buying patterns. And certain parts of the food industry supply chain have been hit hard as contagion has impacted the meat industry. Harvest and processing capacity were reduced as we have stopped the flow of migrant workers, and factory workers have been exposed to the virus. We have also found that we lack flexibility and resilience in our food processing centers, as years of consolidation and increased volumes have made these facilities vulnerable to shutdowns. Very few companies control a vast portion of our food processing capacity, from meat processing to dairy, grain processing, and animal genetics. Entire food categories have changed their trajectory as restaurants shut down and food industries had to pivot to retail and home delivery channel. Globally, 88% of consumers surveyed are worried about the economy, and 64% are worried about their health. Personal hygiene and cleaning products have seen the most growth over the last 3 months as consumers try to get control of their own vulnerability. Tin goods, packaged foods, and some fresh items also saw growth as consumers sought shelf-stable items to fill their pantries. Meanwhile, discretionary categories such as clothing, home decor, and beauty declined. And alcohol sales have also declined as restaurants, bars, and stadiums closed, while retail sales of alcohol have increased. These purchase trends are happening around the world. A recent global study by Nielsen showed similar patterns in Asia, Europe, and South America. What will happen post-coronavirus? No one knows for certain, but recent consumer surveys show that some of the new behaviors will continue. Obviously, people will want to get back to restaurants, but they will do so slowly and with extreme caution. They will look for restaurants to implement new safety and hygiene measures. Outdoor dining will be popular through the summer months, but indoor air conditioning systems may have to change. People are going back to creating shopping lists for shopping rather than just buying on impulse. And home cooking has introduced new generations to the joy of creating their own dishes and shown them that cooking is not as hard as they thought. Many expect to continue their home chef creations well after the lockdowns have lifted. Our journey through this pandemic can be likened to any experience with loss and grief. Decades ago, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, a Swiss-American psychiatrist, developed a framework for the 5 stages of grief. This framework is used to help people understand their own behaviors as they go through profound loss and grieving. Initially, it starts with shock and denial. We say to ourselves, "This is not happening." This will be followed by anger, where we ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Depression often follows as people feel hopeless. "I don't know what to do." Then bargaining occurs as we try to come to terms with the situation. "Maybe if I tried something different, it will go away." And finally, the realization that this is here to stay and acceptance. "I guess I better just get used to it." We can apply the same framework to pandemic's impact to what is happening to our shopping and buying patterns. First, we started to stock our homes in case we got sick, just a little in the refrigerator. Next, as we heard about the severity of the virus, we started hoarding cleaning supplies, toilet paper, sanitizers. After several weeks in isolation, we moved to comfort foods to relieve our stress. Hamburgers, pizza, noodles, pho, food that made us feel good, great tasting, but not always healthy. With job loss and unemployment, consumers will be very concerned about spending and budgets. They will look for good values as well as ways to improve their life, both financially as well as health. And finally, we will all need to focus on healthy nutrition to improve our immunity, as well as manage our weight gain from all the overeating and all those comfort foods. We can see these changes in the online search results that consumers make. We've seen dramatic increases in searches for masks, that's in blue, rather than makeup, that's in red. And recently, an increase in searches for immune system products, again in blue on the right-hand side. Immunity is important as we finding that metabolic disorders such as obesity and diabetes have been found to be high morbidity factors with coronavirus. In fact, food as medicine is now an important topic discussed by many healthcare workers, nutritionists, and food companies. Coronavirus is shown to have a more severe impact on people with underlying conditions such as obesity, hypertension, diabetes, all nutrition-based conditions. The top vitamins and supplements that improve the immune system include vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, B12, selenium. Plus, people are focusing on other aspects of their lifestyle that can improve their immunity, such as sleep management, stress management, and hand washing. Who would have thought that hand washing will become normal and handshakes will disappear? Many food items show promise to help develop acute immunity, such as salmon, peppers, spinach, blueberries, nuts, tofu, and turmeric, and as well fermented vegetables. As research continues, we should be able to better understand the correlation between the foods we eat and the impact on the virus. I would think that soy-based foods have an opportunity to develop health and immunity messages for consumers. But the looming recession and economic downturn are weighing heavily on food companies' strategies. While food and groceries are selling higher volumes, we expect that frugality and cost impact will become a driving force in consumer purchase patterns. 2 clear sets of consumers will emerge. Those with isolated levels of spending, often those who have maintained employment and remain shielded from day-to-day economic impact, and those who will be restrained in their spending habits due to unemployment, furloughing, or other coronavirus-related challenges. We can expect an increase in private label products, food basics, price and value shopping. Also, a decrease in indulgent categories, premium products, and discretionary spending. Companies need to adjust their brand messaging to communicate with consumers with their new perspectives. They want to know is, how is your product going to help me? They're looking for compassion. They are looking for empathy. Health, immunity, and nutrition will become major focal points. After a brief spike in comfort foods, the long-term trend will be towards health. Food safety will become even more critical as consumers do not want to get foodborne illnesses at this time. Many households now contain extended families, and the health of everyone in the family will become a priority, as well as catering to the different tastes of family members. They'll be looking for better value for money, not just cheap. And the words matter. We have a new definition of clean label to mean sanitary rather than just fewer ingredients. And will some consumers want to trade taste for health? There will be more focus on label and ingredient transparency. And we have to learn what search words consumers are using to help them direct them to your brand. Remember, emotion and stress are high with consumers. People are taking care of themselves, and in many cases, taking care of their extended families as well. Brands that lock in with consumers now and register with their emotions will have customers for life. Retailers are responding to the new normal in several ways. Online ordering, click and collect, and home delivery are now mainstream. Retailers who have not gone digital are finding to have a real difficult time. Grocery retail stores are now being redesigned with wider aisles and non-contact payments. No more open buffet tables and an increased level of packaging for fresh produce. Restaurants will see the most dramatic changes. Increasing sanitation and physical distancing will be needed, as well as disposable menus and cutlery. Crowded bars will be reduced and takeout menus expanded. Both retailers and restaurants are asking their product providers to be innovative, to try new ideas such as packaging, changes in ingredients, improved sanitary enclosures, and new approaches to marketing. Some examples of the new retail formats already exist. Amazon Go in the US is an unmanned, cashier-free retail convenience store with camera technology to track customers and their purchases. Just walk in, pick up your product, and walk out. The rest is tracked by your phone. Hand sanitizers and physical distancing make this an ideal format for convenience retailing. I recently visited the store in Chicago, and I was able to get in, pick up a salad, and leave in less than 1 minute. Bingo Box in China is also an unmanned cashier-free convenience retailer that uses sensor technology and barcodes to track customer purchases. With over 500 stores in 28 cities, they represent a new era for retail. Other retailers are using contact-free approaches for consumers worried about getting infected through food carriers, so orders are now placed in designated pickup spots, such as the entrance to a customer's building. This prerequisite has become mainstream and could offer brands new, untapped opportunities. Another great example is Farmer's Fridge in Chicago. Operating over 400 automated fresh food vending machines in Chicago and New York, Farmer's Fridge offers hands-free purchase of fresh salads and noodle bowls through an artificial intelligence-enabled smart vending machine technology. They were initially set up at airports and office buildings, and then coronavirus hit, and all that business went away. But the company pivoted to supply hospitals and homes. They are currently serving over 30,000 meals a week to hospitals. The hospitals love their food because they are fresh, tasty, but also hygienically packaged. Using their vending machine delivery drivers, they are now providing home delivery to their local markets. So what does a post-coronavirus consumer look like? They're going to have changing value perceptions. Health and immunity and nutrition will become key. They're going to look for promotions based on economic climate and value. And they're going to take personal accountability for their own health and their family's health. For buying, they're going to be looking for locally produced or grown with better transparency of how the product was made and where it came from. And they're going to leverage their in-home cooking skills that they've just acquired. They're going to shop by educating online, finding more about the brands, more about the products, and then using either online delivery options or pickup options to pick up their product. And finally, marketing will change as well. Without the ability to have in-store merchandising or demonstrations in stores, word of mouth and social media influencers will have a new designation. And we're going to be looking for new types of experiences in store as well as people shop in a much more efficient manner. So what is the new abnormal? Retailers are going to have to redesign their shop layouts, looking for contactless payments. There'll be fewer stock keeping units, SKUs, as we eliminate some food items, and we'll have more packaged foods. Online ordering will become mainstream, and home delivery will be part of every retailer's offering, and we'll see a lot more automation. Food service and restaurants will have to increase hygiene, going to be looking for disposable menus and utensils. They're going to have reduced capacity and better social distancing within their own restaurants, and including more takeout. They'll be looking for online pre-orders. And we're seeing more restaurants using central kitchens where 2, 3, or 4 restaurants will combine and use one kitchen in order to get economies of scale and use that one kitchen to service the multiple restaurants. And again, more automation will be used in restaurants as well. And for consumers, they'll be comfortable with online orderings and they'll be looking for one-stop shopping. Rather than going to 5 different stores to pick up their groceries, they'll try to keep and limit their contacts to 1 store or 2. They're going to be focusing on packaging and focusing on hygiene and looking for products with nutrition and immunity. Packaged foods will become much more of an important aspect, but we're also going to see the haves and the have-nots. Those that have means, those that have not been affected by the shutdowns and furloughs, and those that are going to be without means and are going to be looking for products that are going to be able to meet a very limited budget as well. With all the difficulties with this coronavirus crisis, we're also seeing a tremendous amount of innovation, from telemedicine and remote working to online ordering and home delivery. At this time, it is hard to predict what will be the outcome of this pandemic and its impact on consumers. The only way we can get through this is by working together and helping each other understand and navigate this new normal. Let's continue to work together. Thank you very much.